Game 6 of the 1992 World Series.
2-2 the score in the Toronto top of the 11th.
The runners go on the 3-2 to Winfield. Down the line, a base hit.
White scores. Alomar scores on a Dave Winfield two-base hit.
And a 4-2 Toronto lead. Mike Timlin will be the new pitcher.
What pressure on this young man.
Now he's on to save the biggest win in Toronto Blue Jay history.
The tying run is 90 feet away. Pitch on the way, and there's a bunted ball. First base side, Timlin to Carter, and the Blue Jays win it.
For the first time in history, the World Championship banner will fly north of the border. Baseball's best in 1992.
It's impossible to describe what that felt like for those of us who were there. For those who were not, we hope you feel that one day. The champions of 1992 are present, many of them. This is the list of players who made their way to Toronto for this celebration. Hazel is in the dugout right now with the last man to touch the baseball in both World Series championships. Hazel.
Well, Jamie, how lucky am I? I get to sit and kind of reminisce with 1992 World Series champion, Mr. Joe Carter. And before we got on air, you and I were talking about what you did last night. Tell everybody what exciting thing you did last night.
Well, my wife and I met up with Dave Winfield, and we went to Barbarian Steakhouse, best steaks in the world. And Aaron was there and everybody. And after we got through eating, we stood up, and it was a table. There was probably about 20 people there. And when we stood up, it's like they just stand up and gave us a standing ovation. And like 92 World Series. And, you know, I've been to Toronto a lot. Yeah. That is the first time that has ever happened, because normally they're going to be quiet, you know, because they're very respectful, and that's what I love about Toronto.
All right, so let's go back to that clinching game at Timlin to Carter. What did you do with the ball, and where is it?
Well, first of all, I had kind of an aberration, or I was just sitting there. I'm at first base going, what the heck am I doing at first base? In Game 6 of the World Series, the most important game, a clinching game, and I'm like, don't hit the ball to me. Don't hit the ball to me. And so when Mike Timlin comes in and Otis Nixon, I knew, because he was my roommate, I knew what he was going to do. And so I told Timmy, I said, hey, he's going to bunt. Watch for the bunt. And after the first pitch, I kept yelling, he's going to bunt, he's going to bunt. And sure enough, he laid the bunt down, threw the ball to me at first base. It was in slow motion. And the thing I was most proud of, the World Series was a great win, but throughout the whole chaos, me jumping up and down in the pile, I had my glove on and the ball was stuck in my glove. I never dropped the ball through all the commotion, and about 10 minutes after all the commotion died down, Mike came up to me and says, hey, where's the ball? And it was still clinched. And he goes, man, he said, that's my first save. And I go, yeah, but this is the World Series win. And so I gave it to Timlin. Yeah. Unbeknownst to what's going to happen the next year. So karma is very good. So Mike Timlin has the ball. He has it in his house, and everything is encased. So his glove, uniform, the baseball for the first World Series is there. And I got to get one the next year.
We do. We'll wait for that interview.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next year.
One more year. Listen, great to see you. Congratulations on everything you've done after that. And we look forward to catching up with you and your teammates later in the broadcast. Thanks, Joe.
Hazel, it's always great seeing you guys. Jamie, love you guys. And, hey, let's go Jays.
Jolton Joe Carter, guys. Back to you.
It is impossible not to smile when that man is around. Thank you, Hazel and Joe. Here's the lineup presented by Bet365 for the Angels, who were big-time winners a night ago. Joe Adell with a 4-for-5 night at the plate, 2 home runs, 1 off Kikuchi, 1 off Whit Merrifield. That still counts when arbitration rolls around, Joe, as you know.
For sure.
The Blue Jays lineup, and you will see George Springer in center. He hasn't patrolled there since July 28th. Against Detroit, so back out he goes, leading things off. Notice all the lefties, Biggio, Tapia, Bradley, so it's a pretty powerful right-handed bench today for the Blue Jays. Let's send it over to the guys from SN Bets.
Thank you, Jamie. I'm Anthony Bruno with Pat Stothers at the SN Bets Big Board presented by Bet365. No one had the Angels winning 12-0 last night and Whit Merrifield coming in to pitch for the Blue Jays. But, Pat, it's time to throw that game out the window because what a pitching matchup we have today.
Well, it really is a battle of heavyweights as Manoah goes head-to-head against Ohtani. Manoah has the 10th best ERA in baseball, while Ohtani the 8th most strikeouts. As we saw from Whit Merrifield's pitching debut last night, it's hard to do what Ohtani does. The Blue Jays are still minus 145 favorites to bounce back this afternoon, but here's a spooky stat. The Angels are 22-8 in their last 30 meetings in Toronto.
Marlins ace Sandy Alcantara is the betting favorite to win the NL Cy Young, but in 4 career starts against the Dodgers, he has an ERA over 14. Just last week in LA, the Dodgers lit him up for 6 runs in 3 2/3. Alcantara is pitching at home this time, but it doesn't look like anyone can stop the Dodgers right now.
The Mariners squeaked out a win over the Guardians last night after All-Star Julio Rodriguez inked a massive 7-year contract extension. The young star went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, but tonight he'll face Zach Plesac on the mound, who, on top of being skipped last time through the rotation, has also lost his last 7 decisions. Julio is going to want to put a stamp on that big contract.
Dallas Keuchel is starting for his 3rd different team this season when he takes the mound for the Rangers tonight, and he's had a nightmare year, posting an .853 ERA across 12 starts. But the Rangers are a top 10 hitting team against lefties, facing Tigers starter Eduardo Rodriguez, who has struggled on the road this season, so we could see a lot of runs on the board in Texas.
Runs on the board in Texas, likely very few runs on the board in Toronto. Let's get set for 2 of the most electric pitchers in the game. Jamie, back to you.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. Well, there it is, the coveted World Series trophy. Pretty tough to drink out of that thing, though, Joe, don't you think?
Yeah.
Those who won it in '92 will be lauded today here at the Rogers Center. That ceremony comes your way right after this.